All right. So welcome to Team Pay It Forward's weekly team training. We are bringing these to you to hopefully help you to learn and grow and become a better coach. Often we will be having a topic of choice and trying to teach you more about those kinds of things. But we will also be doing interviews at least probably 50% of the time. And so today I am really excited to be interviewing Tracey Zusman. And so Tracey is a somewhat, I mean, not really anymore, but somewhat newer coach on our team. She's been a coach for about 7.5 months now. And Tracey, I'm sure if you've been on our team for more than like 2 weeks, you know that Tracey is a rock star. And she is just totally like jamming and doing her thing and making it happen. And she has climbed the ranks and moved forward and created a very successful team in a very short period of time. Tracey is a mom of 2 now. She just had her baby a few weeks ago, or maybe not even a few weeks ago. It's like a week ago or something. Yeah, 1 week ago. And has a toddler and works full-time as well. So we're going to be talking a lot about her story, how she works with her team, what has brought her success, tips that she has for time management, and basically all these secret ins and outs of what she's doing to make this happen. So I just want to start by welcoming Tracey and then just have her share kind of like a little bit about her story and a little bit about her why. So welcome, Tracey.
Thank you. All right. So I started, like Crystal said, about 7.5 months ago. Originally, I kind of just did it for the discount. I had been doing T25 and started out kind of slow. But then after that, I signed up with a 21-day fix challenge pack and really got into it. Then that's when things started to click. And when I started to realize like I could really stick with this program and make a lifestyle out of it. Shortly after that, I signed up 2 coaches and became an Emerald, and that's when things really like started to make sense to me, and I really saw the potential in things. And I think that's when I became more of a discount coach at that point. So now I have 2 babies, and they're a big part of my why. I like to set a good example for them. You know, I break my yoga mat out in the mornings and my daughter runs over and says, exercise, and starts like kicking her legs around and stuff. So it's cool to see that. I hope, you know, my son follows in the same footsteps too. And then also, obviously, the financial aspects of things. I'm really working on saving some money for them for the future and for college and all of that.
Awesome. Okay, so as far as how you got started, so you said like being an Emerald is kind of like when it kind of sunk in and all of a sudden it kind of clicked. So was there a specific kind of key to like, did you go through and did you watch a video that you were like, oh, Emerald, or was it when you got your first lead that you were like, oh, wow, this is awesome? Or was there something that was like really kind of substantial that you were like, all right, and then you started just like moving forward and going after it? Or was there anything particular?
I think just the fact that I had 2 coaches under me that I was supposed to be kind of like setting an example for and helping with their business. Then I really started to, you know, delve in myself because I wanted to be able to help them and answer their questions and set a good example for them. So I think that's what really made it click for me. Before then it was just me and I just had to worry about myself and, you know, doing my workouts, drinking my shakes. But at that point I really said, oh, you know what? Like I see the potential in this. These girls want to work with me. Obviously I'm, you know, setting an example and leading by example if they want to coach as well. So I really better, you know, start working on the business aspect of things too.
Awesome. So I know like a lot of times people don't ever really talk about this, but then a lot of people are always curious. So when you signed on your first 2 new coaches, did they come to you because they saw a post that you did, or did you approach them and ask them about the discount, or how did that go down?
Well, one of my first coaches was one of my best friends, and she had been doing the 21-day fix workouts. She had like borrowed the DVDs from a friend and wanted to try the shakes. So I let her try the shakes and she kind of got hooked on them. I think she saw the difference in me. She knows me so well, so she really saw like how well it was working for me and how happy I was and more energy and all that. So that's how she got started. And then my other coach was Kendra, who we hadn't really spoken in like 7 years. We met through mutual friends, like at a bar 7 years ago. And I put a post up about 21 Day Fix. I think it was on sale, a similar sale to what's going on now. It was like buy Shakeology, get 21 Day Fix for $10. And she approached me and was asking me a bunch of questions. So that's how she got started. I gave her the opportunity for discount coaching, and she was like, all right, sounds good. And she kind of was the same way. I started out as a discount coach and then kind of delved in a little bit more after that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, is to never discount your discount coaches. Because I even have a handful of my active coaches now who are building strong teams and moving forward in this business and doing big things, started out as discount coaches. Yep. So not to push anybody, but just to leave the door open, and especially including them in the team page and letting them watch, because a lot of people have those preconceived notions of what this business is. And when they see that it's not what they thought it was and then it's way better, I think a lot of people then break down those walls and be like, wow, I want to do this too.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm curious as what the key was to your daily activities that kind of got you moving forward and making such great progress. So were you, and even like, were you working 1 hour a day on average? Were you like, how were you handling that? And what was like the main thing that helped you? Like, was it the food vital behaviors, or like what was it for you that really helped you move forward on a daily basis?
So I think the key initially, at least for me, was just starting to believe in the products myself, really doing my workouts every day, drinking the shakes every day. And because I was a coach, I felt like I had to be doing that stuff. I felt so much more accountable, and I wanted to be loyal to my customers. If I was selling them something, I wanted to be able to really show them that it worked rather than just telling them. So initially I probably started spending like an hour a day, not including like my workout time too. Right now I probably spend like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day maybe. Mm-hmm. Usually work during nap time, and then after my daughter goes to bed. I'll check in on Facebook probably at one other time throughout the day, whether it's like first thing in the morning, just to check into my groups and stuff and, make an appearance there. And I think one of the key things that I just started doing right off the bat was really responding to people that were asking me questions. Really being open with them, telling them, my successes and sharing my story with them. Just people that approached me initially was enough to kind of like get my business kick started. So definitely be available to people, be around to answer questions, and be approachable to them.
Yeah, sharing your story is such a powerful tool, and really letting people in to like what your story is in your life and stuff. Super, super important. Okay, so you said, a couple of your coaches, like one of them was your best friend, and then you had someone approach you from like a call to action post that you put up. So would you be able to share an example of like when you are getting the rest of your coaches as you build yourself to diamond and beyond? What's an example of what you would say to invite them to the opportunity?
Sure. So I tend to target people who are already active on social media, since that's such a vital part of our business. I look for people who are already posting pictures of their kids or their dogs, or already, posting statuses all the time. And I, comment and start interacting with them and building relationships with them, because I think that making the transition from that is a lot easier than someone who's, a ghost on social media. So that's kind of where I start. And then I try and draw people into the products themselves first, rather than just jumping right into the active coaching thing right away. Because I think that people who really believe in the products are the ones that end up making the best coaches. So initially I'll just start by saying, if they're in one of my challenge groups and they're posting actively there, I'll just say, I really think you'd make a great coach. because of X, Y, and Z. You know, you're inspiring to other people. You're doing so well with the program yourself, you believe in it. And, you know, other people are noticing that, you know, you're making progress and you're already helping people without even realizing you're helping people. Because I think some people, it's that initial step and that initial bit of confidence that they need for someone else to tell them that they would make a good coach. I also usually point out that you can kind of take things at your own pace. They don't have to jump right in, and they don't have to, like, you know, do 5 social media posts a day, and just that they'll get in what they put out, basically. Get out of it what they put in. I also will share my successes, tell them, you know, my fitness goals have been, you know, met and exceeded, and my financial successes since I started. And I tell them how I was hesitant at first, how, you know, I just started out as a discount coach, and it took me a little while to realize the potential too. So I just kind of tell, like you said, sharing my story and how it wasn't, you know, something I was gung-ho about at first either, but after a while it really started to make sense, and I realized the potential and just want to share that with others.
So it seems really like you really are kind of a laid-back person. You have a laid-back kind of attitude. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think so. I try to be.
What is your, out of curiosity, and like, so not new coaches may not know what exactly this means, but you will learn really quickly, and some of the seasoned coaches are familiar with this. But what color are you, or like what gem are you as far as personality-wise?
I think I'm emerald and pearl, like a little bit of each.
Okay, so more of like, so as far as that goes, what
like more of an introvert, more leading by example than kind of like telling people what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so emerald is motivated by facts and figures. They love to analyze, think things through, plan ahead, organize, create a systematic way of doing things. They can't stand being late when people don't follow the rules or do things the right way. Not understanding things completely before jumping in. Pearl, motivated by helping others. They enjoy being a part of something bigger than themselves, love small gatherings, entertainings, calm demeanor, and are often introverts. So yeah, you're a very calm person. Can't stand confrontation, people who are overly loud and pressured to perform. So that would be, I was gonna say, so like I'm the ruby red who comes after, and I like tend to be like the person who confronts people without even realizing it. I'm loud and pressured. But
we seem to get along fine.
What?
I said, but we seem to get along fine.
Oh yeah, no, of course. It's just, that's why I love learning from you, because we are very different. We have different styles, and so there doesn't have to be one style that moves forward in success too, which is a huge thing to realize. Okay, so is there something that you feel like you're doing in order to help your coaches duplicate your success? Because I know sometimes as you build a team, that can be one of the general frustrations, is you see potential in these people and you see what they're capable of, but then no, they don't follow through. You want it more for them than they want it, or whatever else. But you seem to have something happening on your team where a lot of your coaches are hitting Success Club every month, are building their teams quickly and fast, you know, right away as well, and they're jumping right into it. And I mean, I know we've talked about this, but I love shouting it from the rooftops. It's pretty stinking awesome, is that you are on track, and I'm very confident that you'll hit 5-star elite this year, and it's your first year of coaching. Like, that's just out of control. Anybody who knows anything about this business knows that that's a huge accomplishment. So is there something that you would say that you are doing to duplicate that process within your team?
So initially starting out, I try and talk to every new coach like over a Zoom or at least a phone call, just to get them started with a few little tidbits of information about, you know, posting regularly, about getting to Emerald, and about hitting Success Club. I think those are the main things that I start out teaching my coaches. And then after that, we do a weekly team call. Usually just focus on one topic a week, and then kind of talk about things people are struggling with and goals and all that. So I try and just throw my new coaches into that right away, just so they can, you know, put a face to a name, start to develop like relationships with the other coaches. So I think that's really motivating, just to see someone in person. And then absolutely leading by example, I think, is the biggest thing. Last week when I had my son, I was, trying to do the best that I could, but it was a little crazy for a couple days and I wasn't doing all my posts. And I noticed a difference, not a lot of my coaches were posting. And then this week, I've been able to pick things back up where I left off, and people, are copying me. They're copying and pasting my posts. They're, starting to advertise for the challenge groups, all of that. So I definitely noticed a difference. When I'm not posting, they're not posting as much. And then one of the things I always tell all of my coaches is feel free to steal away. Friend all of your upline coaches, friend all of the other coaches on our team, and just steal their pictures, steal their posts. Do what you have to do. If you're not comfortable, if you can't think off the top of your head of something, just get something out there. And then I started offering some incentives for my coaches as well. Just little prizes. I did like selfie sticks one time. I did the veggetti, or however you say it, how you make like noodles out of vegetables.
Okay.
And I did that 1 month for coaches getting to Emerald when I was pushing for Diamond myself. I think I offered it to prizes 4 of my coaches if they made it to Emerald by the end of the month, and I think 3 out of 4 got there. And the 4th one was like 2 weeks later or something like that.
That's like the spiralizer or whatever.
Yeah. And then last month I had them pushing for Success Club 10, and I offered prizes for anyone that got there, and I think 3 of my coaches did last month. And a lot of them were not far behind. One hit 9, a couple hit like 7. So it definitely helps to give them a little bit extra incentive on top of what's going on. And then if they're pushing for 10, chances are they're going to at least hit 5, which multiple of them did as well. So
yeah,
that's what I've been doing.
And that's the key to, for those people that don't know, if you're a brand new coach, you don't have to worry about this just yet. But the keys to hitting elite are you accumulate points, and just a brief version of it is basically you need to have your coaches duplicating your success. So you need to be hitting Success Club, your coaches need to be hitting Success Club, and they need to be creating volume so that you have this growth factor. And then of course, when we say a 5-star elite, you have to have 5 diamonds. And Tracey is very close to that. And she actually pretty much, I say this, I don't want to like jinx anything, whatever else. I know that probably won't happen at all, but she's got basically 4 right here. And then of course, when you're a 2-star, you can open up a second business center. And then the way she crushes things, I have no doubt that will happen right away. And then that will, be in the bag. Plus, I'm sure that other people will pop up and make it happen on our team as well. So, okay. Getting towards the end. So I know that you talked about this briefly in the beginning, when you talked about, you started with an hour a day and you worked in nap time, and now you do 2 to 3 and whatnot. So time management wise, if you just want to go a little bit further into that, as far as like, do you work from a list? How do you make that happen? Obviously you said nap time and stuff, like with the new baby and all that kind of thing. So what's kind of like your organizational / time management? How do you make this happen kind of thing?
Yeah, so I definitely, lists are huge for me. I have multiple lists. I keep them in my cell phone in the reminder section, because then it's always with me and I can always refer to them when, if I'm waiting at the doctor's office or whatever, I can look at and take a look and see what I have to do. So my beach body to-do list, I usually make either the night before or that morning. And there's 2 sides to the list. One is stuff to do now and one is stuff to do later. And usually I put just like 4 or 5 small tasks that I can bang out really quick on the list to do now. And then I put the more intense stuff on the list to do later. That's just what works for me. Because once I get going and I have checked off 2 or 3 things, I get on a roll and I get motivated, and it gives me the extra boost that I need to get those bigger things done. So that's how I work my lists. And then as far as time management, one of the other things I do is just stockpiling posts. So when I'm, taking a picture of something, I'm, always keeping Beachbody in mind. I'll take a picture and use it in a post 4 or 5 days later. It's not always necessarily what's going on in my life at that moment. Take, videos of my workouts, have a file of them in my phone. And then I also will write up posts in the morning, or now while I'm nursing my son, I'll sit there and write up a post in my phone to save for later. It might be 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to be posting it then, but I'll save it for later. So definitely just keep a whole list of that stuff in your phone so that you have it when, when things get crazy and you don't necessarily have time to think of something meaningful. And then the other thing that I do is I save little spiels in my phone. So I have a whole folder of just blurbs that I can easily, quickly answer people if they ask me, tell me more about Shakeology. I have a little blurb that I send to them. I tweak it for, different people. For moms, I'll say, it's good for nursing if they're a new mom or whatever it may be, but it's easy to just copy and paste something rather than having to type the same things over and over. So I have one for 21 Day Fix. I have one for Shakeology. I have one about discount coaching, one about active coaching. And then I share them with my coaches as well. When I sign, people that want to be active coaches, I'll send them all that stuff too, so that they have it as well. So that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things too. I know I didn't do that when I first started. I'm kind of like a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person, and it's great because I take action on things, but at the same time, then I didn't have those duplicatable systems for a long time. I would just be winging it all the time, and taking up a lot of time or having to say the same things over and over again. So I love that you put it in your phone so you have easy access to it, and you can get it. And so what app, do you use a specific app, or are you using Google Docs in your phone, or what are you using?
I use the notes section in my phone a lot.
Okay.
That's where I do a lot of my posts. And then the little spiels or the little blurbs that I have a folder in my email. So that way I can access it from the computer, or I can access it from my phone.
Awesome. Good tips. Those are some great tips. And so you're really utilizing your time really well too. So obviously you're intentional because you make a list either at the end of the night or the beginning of the morning. And then you're intentional with your time. Like when you're sitting there nursing, what else do you do? Like that's seriously, like that's you're just like do. I mean, yes, of course you're enjoying, you and your baby time, but like that's, a great use of time because you have to sit there anyways.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So last 2 things, top 3 tips for taking action and making it happen.
All right, so my first top tip, I guess, would be to set goals, and not only to set a goal, but to set a goal with a deadline. So when there's pressure, you're more likely to perform. When I first started, when I first got to Emerald, and I realized that rank advancing wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, I set a goal to get to Diamond by the time I had my son. Which was I was due in August, and I got there in June. So that definitely helped a lot. The pressure. So definitely give yourself a deadline. First goal I always tell my new coaches is to get to Emerald, because that's like when I said I was a turning point in my business. So that's why I kind of push them for that as well. My second tip is to really be on top of your following up, whether it's with customers or coaches. I kind of let that slide a little bit initially with my business and following up with my customers, and I ended up losing a lot of them. They didn't really follow through with the program, therefore they didn't really believe in the product, and then they ended up quitting or not seeing the results that they wanted to get, and therefore yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you a quick question? Sorry, regarding that. With the whole following up, obviously you said you're a list person and making lists and whatnot. So what do you use as far as tracking your follow-up people?
My phone, again. I use the reminders section in my iPhone. It's like a little to-do list you can check off as you go. And I just have one for follow-ups, and I'll You know, I'll write the person's name and I'll write a little thing after it, whether it's, you know, coaching or the day that I said I would check in with them. And then I just go through that list every day and say, all right, what, should I follow up with this person today? You know, what did I talk about? And I can refer back to the conversation there. So yeah, definitely following up with customers, and then keeping tabs on your coaches as well. So just check in with them. Hey, how are things going? I saw you're at Success Club 4, whatever, you know, what are you doing to get to 5? Just really chatting with them and seeing how they're doing. I think that kind of pushes them a little bit too. And then the third thing, which is huge, is just staying consistent. You know, I'd say I've been pretty consistent since I started, at least since I got to Emerald. I've noticed there have been a couple months where I got to my goal by mid-month or by towards the end of the month, and I'd kind of fall off with my posting, and I pay for it the next month because I'm, you know, it's halfway through the month and I'm at Success Club 2 or whatever. So definitely just keep pushing, keep doing your reaching out to people, even if you're at your goal. Because a lot of times, you know, you reach out to someone on the 26th and they purchase a challenge pack, you know, they're your first 2 Success Club points the next month. Mm-hmm. So just really stay consistent. There have been so many people who have contacted me recently and said, oh my gosh, I've been watching you since February. It must really work. Like, it must really be doable and maintainable. You've done it through your pregnancy. Now you have 2 kids. I want in on this. So the fact that they see that you can stick with it for that long makes them believe that they can do it too. So staying consistent is huge.
Yeah, and that's so true. Like that last point that you really honed in on, like you had a couple good points within that last tip, is so true, because you do have, like we always tell new coaches, and it's hard to believe at first because you're like, who's going to watch me? Who cares about me? But people do watch you. They're watching this journey. And so your consistency through that is so important. And like you said, I've definitely gone to the point too where like I hit my goal and I'm like, oh, I can kind of go on cruise control. Like, yeah, and I hit it really early, no big deal. And then, yeah, like you said, the next month is really challenging. You're always, it's like that follow-up, it's the compound effect and whatnot. And like you have the compound effect is like you've made it happen before the compound effect is even literally really kicking in. Like the compound effect is really starting to kick in for you now. Like you said, people are coming to you that have been watching you and they see your journey and stuff. So that's huge. So, okay, last thing. I know we touched on this already with time management, so some of it might be repetitive, but it's always good to hear these things over again. Top 3 tips for time management.
Yeah, what I wrote notes on was basically what we talked about. One of the things I didn't touch on, listening to your personal development while you're driving is huge for me. You know, I have a 20-minute commute to work 3 times a week, so that's usually when I do my personal development those days. Some people are able to do it while they're working out. I don't really have that luxury. My kids are usually making too much noise. But that's another thing too, is working out when your kids are around. I've gotten my daughter so used to me working out now that saves time. I don't have to squeeze that in while she's napping now. I don't have to squeeze that in after bedtime. I can use that time to focus on, you know, the business aspect of things. But yeah, she, you know, she'll work out with me, or she'll kind of do her own thing. I can keep an eye on her while I'm working out. I have, you know, an area baby proofed for that, or I'll put her in her high chair and give her a snack, whatever I have to do to get it done. But that's a huge time saver as well. Nope, you're muted.
Whoops, sorry. I was forgetting about that. I was gonna say I agree. I was in a very similar life situation as you when I first started this business as well. I had my son was like approximately 1 year old, and then I got pregnant with my daughter, like right after I became a coach, and then, you know, was pregnant the whole first year and then had her and all that kind of stuff too. So I get it. Like that's what I did with my son. I had him in his high chair with his snack time, or I gave him some Play-Doh or whatever. And then at that point they just start to like, they get used to it. You know, and showing them that this is an important part of mommy time. This is what I do for myself. And obviously it's a good example as well. So yeah, I think that's really important, because a lot of moms tend to have the whole mom guilt and, oh, I can't do this while they're awake and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's challenging sometimes at first. You might have to stop your workout, or it might not be to 100%, you know, that you can give, but it does get better with consistency, right?
Yep.
Anything you want to say in closing that you really just have to get out there? Anything?
I think I covered it all. Just like I said, consistency is huge, and leading by example. I think those are the two biggest takeaways, and the two most important things that I try and do.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy busy time. I know that, you know, everything is always an adjustment too. Like obviously you just had your baby, so now your schedule is changing again, you know, and that's the thing too, whether you're a mom or you're not, whatever, your schedule is always changing. So to be able to really adjust to that and just focus on your priorities and know that, okay, I'll figure out a way to make it work and just keep moving forward. I think that's awesome. So I really appreciate your time today, Tracey, and I thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.